Without further ado, I would like to officially pass the stage to a moderator, Dr. Wong. Over to you, please.
Thank you. Great honor to be here to moderate this session titled the Bolstering the Headquarters Economy. I'm Stephen Wong. I heads up the CE's policy unit, which is basically an internal research unit or internal think tank for the CE, and we are responsible for coordinating and publishing the policy address under the leadership of the CE this year. And so, my job is to always learn so that we can get better ideas. So I'm a generalist in knowledge, but specialist in learning. So happy to have an occasion to learn today with 5 distinguished panelists. So I guess my first question will be to Alpha, my colleague from Invest Hong Kong, to share with us, your experiences when you speak to some of your insurance stakeholders, and what do they usually point to, the advantages of operating out of Hong Kong.
Right. I think I know we are given the topic of regional headquarters economy, but very importantly for any industry, when you consider going to a place to set up your business, be it as a headquarters or a local office, the important thing is what is in it for your industry, for your particular company first. So, Invest Hong Kong does help a lot of companies come into Hong Kong, including insurance companies and financial companies. And they also tell me the unique thing about Hong Kong is we are really right set between the crossroads of the East and West. And of course, we have a very world-class financial infrastructure. And earlier, for those who were here earlier, the chief executive shared that not only do we support growth and innovation, we actually are the designated international risk management center for China. So this is all very important. And when I look at some research recently by the Swiss Re, so last year, Hong Kong also has the market of the highest insurance penetration and also the second highest insurance density. So this is all very important for the insurance companies to look at your market generally. But I think also more important is rather than just insurance, right? A lot of insurance companies are in the wealth management business as well. So other than Hong Kong being the world's 3rd largest global financial center and the largest in Asia, I'm very happy to say that we are the 2nd largest wealth management center now, offshore wealth management center in the world. So recently, I think a few months ago, the UBS chairman actually shared, that Hong Kong will very likely overtake Switzerland as the largest wealth management center in the world in a few years. So, this is very important because for insurance companies, you're looking at wealthy clients, you're also looking at security SFC, IRAS type of instruments, and we are also in a market where bridging international investors and risk managers with the mainland market as well. So I'm very happy to say, our host today, the Insurance Authority, they are also involved in very, very proactive management, such as being involved, encouraging mainland enterprises to be involved in large-scale infrastructure. Comprehensive risk management capabilities is rated through Hong Kong, using Hong Kong really as a risk management sector. Now, our first panel earlier also talked about the importance of AI and other fintech revolution. So I'm very also happy to share that other than the Insurance Authority, the Hong Kong MA, Monetary Authority and the SFC really work closer together to push the usage of insurance tech, fintech, and they have such as, artificial AI and distributed ledger technology, etc. So all this makes it very exciting for Hong Kong itself as an insurance market. Now, but what does it mean to be based out of Hong Kong? Hong Kong is very sophisticated, but nevertheless, we're not a huge market. We've got just under 8 million population. But us being right in the middle of Asia, not the middle of South Asia or North Asia, but right in the middle of Asia, we are 4 hours away from the whole of Asia and 5 hours away from half the world's population. Our 3rd runway just opened. We now have a very high capacity. We fly to over 220 destinations around the world. Hop on a flight. You can go to a meeting anywhere in Asia and be back in the afternoon. So this is quite important for companies to consider a place to be right in the middle, to set up maybe a regional office or headquarters, to manage your insurance business, to expand further into China's market and Asia's market if you're from outside of this part of the world. And likewise, for the Chinese companies, to use Hong Kong as a stepping stone, as a trialing ground to further go out into the rest of the region. So that, coupled with some general, I believe, benefits of Hong Kong, the one country, two systems, whereby we've got the access to the huge Chinese and Asian market, but we use common law. We use English as a legal language in addition to Chinese. And, using Hong Kong, if you were to expand into Guangdong, for example, you can actually use Hong Kong law and Hong Kong arbitration common law system if you're a Hong Kong invested company. So if I go on, I probably would hog up the whole 20 minutes, but this is just what some of them have told me. Yeah. And probably my other esteemed panelists would probably tell you more from their perspective as well.
Thank you, Alpha, because you probably know that by the end of this panel, hopefully you will be convinced that if you are not already in Hong Kong setting up your regional offices, you will, and to set up your regional and or global headquarters in Hong Kong. Our other panelists have a diverse business background and the business line and the history of operating your business out of Hong Kong. So maybe I thought it would be interesting to share some of your thoughts on this topic with stories of the successes or some of the challenges that you face building, operating, or even your business or managing your global or regional business out of Hong Kong. Maybe I'll start with Fiona first.
Hi, good morning, I think. We're still in good morning. I have the privilege of managing Bupa in Hong Kong, and we provide high quality, good value for money health insurance and healthcare services, GP and specialist amongst them. And we're enabled to do that by the highly sophisticated insurance and financial services markets in Hong Kong, but also by the high quality, very well established healthcare ecosystem. Our customers are individuals, small companies, and also the multinational companies. And when employers come to Hong Kong, they're very confident and comfortable to see that they can give their employees the quality of healthcare that they are used to seeing across the rest of the world in very modern facilities and taking advantage of the best in innovation in healthcare. And that's not all, and it's not finished. One of the things we're very focused on here in Hong Kong is ensuring that customers can best navigate the healthcare system with their funding to ensure that each of them and their families get the best health outcome. When we were talking about this as panelists, we were asked for a challenge. And actually, the challenge I wanted to call out for Hong Kong is the ageing population. Now, this might be slightly skew for this audience, but I think if you stay with me. So we have an ageing population in Hong Kong, and that's not uncommon across cities and countries in the world. And all of us are spending time and investment on ensuring that we're developing and retaining young and emerging talent. But one of the risks with an ageing population is the potential for a chronic disease burden. And I see that also as an opportunity here in Hong Kong because there is high awareness, there is real focus, and there is an open dialogue, and there is support from both government and private companies to manage and to reduce that risk. And we can see that in the focus on reducing the causes of chronic disease, pollution and smoking, and also the really high focus on ensuring that there's early testing for the most prevalent chronic diseases. In addition to that, and more recently, and I heard people talk about AI earlier, with the digital revolution in access to health and well-being management powered by AI, there's really no excuses for any of us not to manage, healthy eating and regular exercise. And myself and my team on Sunday were sort of pounding the streets of Hong Kong in the streetathon. And that's just one example of where companies, private companies and NGOs come together to support Hong Kongers, both young and aging, to make the most of the opportunity to manage their healthcare and regular exercise. And I know, looking across the audience, there are many, many of you who support something similar in Hong Kong. So there's a real opportunity for us, not just in terms of as pure insurers, but also in terms of the what we're able to do in terms of the delivery of our services, and as health insurers, the healthcare services, but also in supporting the population and improving the health and well-being of the population of Hong Kong.
Thanks, Fiona. I think your business is obviously very unique in the sense that you're also running clinics, and therefore you are sort of at the crossroad of our primary care as well as our insurance. So it's on the both sides. And so today, if we have a topic of health financing, then we would love to have more of your thoughts on that. But
I would highly recommend to do both.
Yes. Fred?
1 minute of advertising. We are very active in the One Belt, One Road countries. I said most of our operations are in the One Belt, One Road countries, but we also have an office in Japan. Why do we pick Hong Kong as our headquarters? Very simple. 3 reasons. Number 1, we have a world-class regulator. Not to polish your shoes, Stephen and Clement, but it is very important.
You'll be invited back.
It's very important that, to have a very vigilant regulatory regime, because that way the policyholders have confidence that we are being supervised, in a very professional way. And this is very important, in my view, as a former regulator. Secondly, the market. We have access to Hong Kong, which is already a pretty active market, but more importantly, we have the mainland market. And as you heard from Ms. Low just now, the mainland market is huge. Of course, again, an appeal to the regulator in the mainland, they should give FWD a license. Because then we have more access, to the market. That's another reason why Hong Kong is important. A third reason is because Hong Kong have the talents. In our business, it's very important to have talents. And Hong Kong has a lot of talents from not just the insurance agents, but we need a lot of support, including technology and actuaries and all that. So Hong Kong has a very, very rich pool of talents. So that is why FWD picks Hong Kong as our regional headquarters. And I think that, Hong Kong should capitalize on all those edges, and Alpha has already laid out so many others, but I just want to focus on the 3 why we pick Hong Kong as our headquarters. Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Fred. Anil?
Thanks, Stephen, and it's great to be at the forum and lovely to see everyone in the audience. Hong Kong is a magnet for international insurers, and to my mind, there are several reasons for that. Some of them have already been covered. I will take the liberty of reiterating some of those. I think efficient and modern infrastructure, the depth of talent, the depth of capital markets. I think for an international insurer like Prudential, with operations across 24 international markets, I think it's very important to have a place where we can get access to talent and efficient infrastructure. We are a 176-year-old company. We have kind of in recent past taken some decisive steps to focus our capital, our resources towards Asia and Africa. And as we were going through that process, it was very important for us to choose a location where we can provide the necessary oversight for our global operations. And Hong Kong was a natural choice for a few factors that I mentioned, but two other significant factors that Frederick alluded to as well. I think if you look across the Asian landscape, there are very few places that can provide the supervision and the governance that an international insurer like Prudential would seek. And I think having a forward-leaning, a practical, a pragmatic, and engaging regulator is absolutely fundamental, just kind of given the complexity of the jurisdictions that we operate in. And I think Hong Kong does an absolute fabulous job in providing that governance. I think the second very important facet of why you would base yourself in Hong Kong is the connectivity. It's the gateway to China, and we've kind of spoken about the potential of GBA. To my mind, it underscores one of the biggest, if not the biggest opportunity in our sector in this part of the world, if not across the world. And I think that's a very compelling reason for an international insurer like Prudential to be based in Hong Kong. So I believe there are a lot of features that Hong Kong has that no other place can replicate. And that's a distinct advantage, a distinct differentiator. And it's kind of evidenced by the number of international insurers that call Hong Kong their home and are based here in terms of their global operations.
Thank you, Anil. Casey, your business is slightly different than the rest of the business here, but
quite different. Yes. Yes, quite different. I'm with WeLab Bank, a digital bank in Hong Kong. So thank you to the Insurance Authority for inviting me to this panel to share my perspective on how to bolstering a headquarters economy. Now, of course, I agree with all the points made by the speakers on the panel, but I want to offer a somewhat different, I think, complementary perspective of how we can see Hong Kong to be better even better as a headquarters. I think Hong Kong as a headquarters should be and can be, and it already is, a center of innovation. I think innovation is very important for that to happen. A headquarters like Hong Kong is a very good center for building network and alliances, all across the region. Now, I use the example of WeLab Bank to illustrate my point. WeLab Bank is a digital bank. We got the license from HKMA about 5 years ago. There were like 8 of us in Hong Kong who got the bank licenses. But unlike most of them, or all of them, we are an independent bank. We don't have a parent company. So it's very much we have to really try to figure out what to do and try to how to build scale and so on. Now, very early on, we decided that we should not just limit ourselves to Hong Kong. We should really go out and build market and acquire customers. So a few years ago, we went to Indonesia. We teamed up with a very strong partner in Indonesia. Then we raised money. We acquired a small local bank, and then we applied to the regulator to turn that bank into a digital bank with a national presence. So today, I think the bank's only operating for a little bit more than 1 year. I think we have now 2 million customers for that. So I think it's pretty good result as far as we are concerned. And we also now studying, actually not only studying, we are now also in the process for applying for a digital bank license in Thailand, also with a strong local partner in Thailand. Now, what I mean to say is that Hong Kong can be a headquarters for us, but definitely for us. and it can be a headquarters where you branch out, where you build alliances and build markets. So it's very important for a small company like us to be able to leverage on Hong Kong's strength to do that. And what really takes for us, and I agree with Fred Ma a lot, I mean, I guess we share the same experience, same background as a former regulators. We think regulation is very important. That is your calling card. When you go out there and try to market yourself, try to build alliances, build business, Hong Kong regulatory regime is a very important trademark for us. I think that's very important. And as in Hong Kong, as we build the digital bank, we actually definitely leverage on what we have here. It's a very competitive marketplace, so we have generated a lot of product ideas in Hong Kong. We force ourselves to be very innovative, both in technology and in product space. But also more importantly, for finance area, we have to be very good in AML, cybersecurity, all these things. And this is actually Hong Kong is very good at. So that turns out something that we can really be able to take to other markets. We have experience in building technology and building a very resilient risk management system. And I think to me, that's Hong Kong can be a headquarter because we encourage innovation and because we have very high quality standards. And of course, Hong Kong has also the neighboring area. We have the GBA and so on. A lot of the technology support is coming from GBA. So it's a pretty good business environment and very competitive business environment in Hong Kong to be in. And that really gives us a lot of experience and takeaway as we go out. So I guess I would say that Hong Kong has shown itself to be a place where the government and the regulators are innovative and also putting together and safeguarding a very sound regulatory regime. And that is really what it takes for a financial company like many of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add a little bit?
Sure.
Because we have been talking about international insurance companies, my esteemed panelists, who are using Hong Kong as a headquarters. We are also talking about homegrown companies who have been very successful with the support of the regulators to then use the same model to really grow your business outside of Hong Kong. But we also have a lot of Chinese companies in the audience. I just also want to remind that as our country's companies, start to expand beyond the borders, particularly for the heavier, the larger industrials. Increasingly, we see a trend of the larger groups now having their own insurance companies to support their own growth in infrastructure, etc., reinsurance or other in transport, logistics, for example, some very large groups. So an opportunity for the mainland Chinese corporates looking to explore this, and we've got inquiries from a few, is to really use Hong Kong as the first stepping stone because of all the reasons mentioned before, of the strong regulators, the framework, and the good infrastructure, and then use this to then extend beyond as your group expands into the globe to follow you so that your financial services arm could also use Hong Kong as a stepping stone to further grow into the rest of the world.
Thanks, Alpha. We shift gear a little bit, and we got a couple of questions from the floor. Thank you. Please continue to send your questions. One is, I threw it out for everyone to pick up is, have you seen any sort of interesting insurtech pilot use case, as Casey spoke about the innovations that you have encountered in Hong Kong, and how have you collaborated with any sort of insurtech startup or any insurtech that you've seen in Hong Kong so far, just so that we can get a sense of any sort of interesting insurtech startup in Hong Kong. Anil, I know you guys have done a lot in that space.
Yeah, we have, and again, it came through in some of the previous conversations as well.
Yeah.
I think the way we think about engaging with insurtechs across the world and specifically in Hong Kong is through the lens of how do we make experiences for our customers and our distributor partners better. That's the primary lens that we use. And I think we have partnered with some of the insurtech companies in terms of looking at opportunities to expedite, for example, medical processing. To my mind, that's the single largest moment of truth for any insurer when the claim comes in, and how soon can you process the claim and how efficiently you can process that claim. So we are looking at those opportunities. But I think more broadly, there are other significant opportunities, specifically in the area of AI. And we've spoken a lot about AI already. But I think the single largest thing that can differentiate Hong Kong in the space of AI is how does Hong Kong create illustrative models and illustrative use cases that are not only scalable within the Hong Kong context, but more scalable from a regional context. I think the more Hong Kong evidences these examples, which have relevance for consumers, relevant for certain commercial outcomes that the insurers are driving, I think that can be truly powerful and a huge differentiator for Hong Kong and its impact on the entire region.
Fiona, I know you talked about the Bupa digitization platform, and maybe you share some of your thoughts and your sort of adaptation or localization of your worldwide tech into the Hong Kong context, and how has that experience been?
Yeah, I think I would say, first of all, I completely agree. It's customer first. So tech isn't anything unless it's delivering something that the customer needs and wants. I think that's really important. The second I would say is the Hong Kong is really well placed to bring together a lot of different ideas across the globe. From a tech perspective, whether that's healthcare delivery or customers accessing their funding for or navigating themselves or us supporting them navigate through their healthcare journey. And actually what I find in Hong Kong is there is some really great talent, but I'm not going to tell you who it is because I don't want to steal it. And bring together the best from different parts of the world. We're quite an international company, and so in Hong Kong, as you can imagine, we're not proud about going out, showing what we've done, but also seeing what else there is available across the world and saying, actually, we'll have some of that. We can very quickly and agilely integrate that into our solutions for our customers. And I think that's a sort of for me, and I haven't been in Hong Kong for a long, long time, like many of you, but that's one of the sort of secret sources of Hong Kong is just how agile and innovative the talent here is in terms of being able to take the best that they see, whether that's from mainland China or from anywhere else across the world, and actually integrate that in a great solution for the customers in Hong Kong.
Fred?
FWD, compared to our friendly competitors on the panel, as well as my good friend Edmund's company, AIA, is a very young company. It's only in business for 11 years. So we realized we need to make a difference. So at the inception of the company, we utilize a lot of technology to access to our customers. And as a matter of fact, where our target customers are mostly younger people who loves to use tech. And so technology to us is very important. And we also use technologies to process claim, as Anil said, it's faster and is much more efficient. But I want to say that there's nothing that replaces the integrity of the agents. We recently faced a lot of issues in Thailand due to fraud cases, which cannot be detected, unfortunately, by technology, So my point is, technology is great, but human being or agents cannot be replaced, They cannot replace agents. So my experience is find the good agents.
Okay, talking about talking about agents and talents. I want to also touch upon this idea because a number of you mentioned that Hong Kong has a talent pool. Can you also discuss, but because obviously talent pool is a generic term for whether it is we have enough talent pool, let's say, in operating businesses. Anil, you mentioned that your business is focused on Asia as well as in Africa. How Hong Kong do we have sufficient talent, and what areas of talent that we'd like to see more in sort of complementing your business, or how can we build a better platform for talent?
Sure. So you're absolutely right. I think one of the key reasons, and you heard that universally across the panelists, as to why we base ourselves in Hong Kong is because of the depth of talent. And I think Hong Kong in many ways can and is a lender of expertise to the other parts of the region. And there's a reason for that, because of the significant capability, for the significant intellect, for the significant leadership that the talent in Hong Kong gets, that we can then export to the other parts of the region. And again, I'm sure as many of the insurers present in this room look at their own footprint, there are many examples. But at the same time, Hong Kong also presents a distinct opportunity to attract the best and the brightest from the rest of the world. And at Prudential, we have been hiring a significant talent. And I can tell you, not one talent has opposed moving to Hong Kong. In fact, it has been an accretive force as we've hired talent from Europe, from other parts of Asia, from the US, that Hong Kong actually has been a driver for talent migrating into this part of the world. And I think that's, again, kudos to the way Hong Kong positions itself to the rest of the world. It's great for professional development. It's great for raising families. And I think that's been a significant part of the talent value proposition that we are talking to some of the best and brightest in our sector, and even outside our sector across the world.
Wow, this is music to our ear. Well, we only have a couple of minutes left, but I guess I'm obliged, at least for some of the audiences, there are questions here as well, to talk about challenges, or gaps when you are managing your business out of Hong Kong. And we can keep it short, but it's not that many gaps. But love to really just get your thoughts on, what are areas that we can improve on. And obviously, there are a lot more businesses that, frankly, we love to hop into Hong Kong, because I know that, for example, Anil, your business, or FWD, there are a lot of business lines that are not gravitating in Hong Kong yet. So what are the things that we can do in terms of really hopping those business lines back to Hong Kong? Maybe Fred, yeah, sure. Yeah, Fred, yes, please.
We don't have any challenges. We only see opportunities.
Yes.
Well, there are always challenges in business, Keeping good people, because in spite of what you said, Anil, we have a lot of competition competing for good people. So always strive to be a good employer, to keep our people happy. That's, because I told our group chief executive that our turnover is still too high, but, this is not just a Hong Kong problem. I find that the insurance industry, somehow, they like to compete for good people. And so as a result, we have a lot of challenge to keep the good people. Good people tend to move around a lot, and particularly in a growing industry like us. But having said that, we just have to do better to keep our people happy. Otherwise, Edmund and YS will take all of them from us. So cannot afford lah. Thank you.
And you?
Yeah, I think one of the things that Hong Kong can play a greater role, and honestly, it's a huge opportunity is in the space of climate. I think we've spoken again the importance of climate. As an insurer, I think all insurance companies have a distinct responsibility to add to that voice, to make some meaningful contributions, given that most insurance companies are large asset owners, large asset managers. So I think we carry a distinct responsibility on that. But the way we see it at Prudential is that we don't want any market, any country to be left behind. There are a lot of markets in Asia that unfortunately do not have the resources or the access to finance like the current markets or insurers in the western part of the world have. And I think that is where I think Hong Kong can provide a significant platform to be able to help countries with transition financing. Because that is the real difference that we can make if we are really serious about driving climate change and the climate agenda. So I think Hong Kong, just being Hong Kong and the stature that Hong Kong has, can play an even bigger role on the transition financing to drive the climate change agenda.
Thank you. So Anil, but you're talking about transitional finance, but also specifically on the climate insurance that we need to write, hopefully write more of those policies or those scientists that we know about how to sort of the climatologists or the weather storm or whatever that we are promoting, the catastrophe bond risk. Is that sort of things that you're talking about?
And you're seeing the frequency. Again, the first panel mentioned the challenges around that and the increasing frequency of natural disasters. So I think, yes, there is obviously an opportunity to step up and provide coverage to cover natural disasters. But I think I was also talking about, for example, how do you incentivize a coal plant to transition to green? How do you provide that financing and the right level of motivation for a young coal plant to be able to transition from fossil fuels into green? That's a very complicated question. But if we are really serious about the climate agenda, I think that's what we need to get after. And I believe that Hong Kong can play a distinct role in that effort.
Fiona, going back to your original point that maybe we delve deeper a little bit, that obviously you talked about aging as a challenge, but also obviously it would be an opportunity for businesses generally to provide health protection and to cover a lot of our issues. And do you want to like to elaborate on that? Obviously, how can we create a better ecosystem so that we can have more health insurance and protections for some of the, let's say, middle class that have yet enough protection on?
Yeah, I would say, so Hong Kong is not immune to the challenges that are happening across the globe. Climate change, aging population, chronic disease burden, and so on and so forth. The key for me in Hong Kong is let's not follow everybody else. Let's be ourselves in the way in which we solve for that. There is a great deal in Hong Kong in terms of innovation, talent, and agility. And I think when you apply those to the same challenges, you'll find innovative solutions. So I know there's lots of, both at a consumer level, an employer level, and also an insurer level, there's lots of conversations about the cost of healthcare. Actually, we have a real opportunity in Hong Kong to use innovation and think really carefully about how we manage the increasing burden and increasing cost of healthcare, working with the healthcare ecosystem and helping to evolve and manage the healthcare ecosystem as insurers, and maintaining that level of competition and innovation that is really so raw and special in Hong Kong. So I would say, we don't have unique challenges necessarily. We have the challenges that others have, but we have unique solutions here because as a culture, as a people, and as such a sophisticated market, and system, we have the opportunity to apply really innovative solutions to some of these same challenges.
Thank you. Alpha, can we give you the last words of why we should all set up the headquarters in Hong Kong?
I think my panelists have already said it all, but I think more importantly is the ease of doing business, the fact that we already have a very good legal, financial, trade, logistics systems, which has fundamentally been forming Hong Kong's uniqueness. So Hong Kong is the international hub with a unique access into China. Okay, this is where no other hubs has it. And this is where we have it. But at the same time, we're also very pragmatic and also very forward-looking and striving to look for new ways to do business, such as the adoption of technology. Our government has placed so much emphasis on using technology, and particularly for financial insurance-related technology. I mean, we are actually, where we are, and this is, we are in the forefront of the global regulations. We are one step ahead. Virtual trading, insurance of digital wallet assets, etc. So long story short, Hong Kong is exciting. This is the way, where you want to be, but also it's not all about business, yeah? You also have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy living here. So now we have got balmy weather. We have 4 seasons, not 1, right? We have 4 seasons. It's nice and good for a hike, go for a swim, 70-something Michelin restaurants, and also very good street food. We've got dim sum right outside, quality food from TTC. So awesome. Once again, I think, you know, if you haven't been here, as some of our panelists hadn't been for 13 years or 40 years, come visit us. If you like it, bring your family. If you like it again, bring your business.
Great.
Right?
Awesome.
Thank
With
you.
that, thanks all the panelists, and give it back to Moderator. Thank you.